Oh man, guys, I am not gonna lie. I'm fuming right now. Like, I'm really pissed. I was like, I gotta get away from my phone and just go make a video. Just go make the video for tomorrow. But oh my gosh, it's just, I mean, quickly. All right, Miles Turner is my favorite GBP play of the slate. He had like 25 plus at halftime. Was breaking the slate. Massive foul trouble. Doesn't play at all in the second half. For some reason, gets pulled after his third foul with like 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. Comes back in the fourth, picks up number 4 and number 5, right back to the bench, barely plays the second half. Insane. Gary Trent Jr. play him, massive foul trouble too. Also took Miles Turner over prize picks, might be chalk now because of just losing out in huge minutes. RJ Barrett, been playing like 40 minutes a night, randomly plays 13 minutes in the first half and no ownership. I was just like, I just gotta go. I gotta go get away from. I'm so mad. So and again, what it seems to be when it rains, it pours. Like when you get injury, ejection, foul trouble, it just continues to pour on. So hopefully this bad variance can end. I'm honestly like really pissed. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm not happy, man. Because in GPPs, again, when you get the BS like that, either injuries or random foul trouble. Like, oh, and listen to this. Last night, with an injured DeAndre Ayton, I missed the cash in tournaments by 1. I low-owned Bobby Portis, go for like 45. Low-owned AD, smashed. Low-owned Marcus Smart, smashed. Missed by 1 because Ayton got injured early in the game. Oh, and then, wait, here's to top it all off, too. I moved stuff around to get Terrence Davis in because I thought he was really good value and would be under-owned with that late news. But with me doing that, I couldn't get to... I was leaving a spot for Jalen Noel. It was either going to be I went to Gafford if D'Lo played, or if D'Lo was out, I was going to play Jalen Noel. So leaving that spot for Noel because I knew it would be low-owned if D'Lo got ruled out. He did, but again, I had to move some stuff around to get Terrence Davis in, and then I didn't have that flexibility. And of course, D'Lo gets ruled out. I'm just like... I literally want to pull all my... Like, I am... Oh, my God. I need to go for, like, a walk or something, man. I need to do something. I need the pain to end, man. I need the pain to end. Oh. All right. Had to get out of the way. Sorry for the rant, guys. But, yeah, you can tell. I'm actually, like, pretty upset right now. But all right, let's move on. Let's talk about this 4-game NBA slate. If you guys are looking for premium content, you can check my Patreon link down below. A lot of different packages and prize picks there. The sponsor, you can use the code DKDFS. It will give you a 100% match up to $100. That is a free $100 to play with on the site. A lot of different sports. You can mix and match sports. It's a lot of fun. If you guys have any questions, you can always leave them in the comment section or hit me up on Twitter. Try to get back to everyone. But all right, let's talk about this 4-gamer. And I mean, I've said this literally every day now for the past like week, and we haven't got it. But please, just one slate without ejections, injuries, or massive foul trouble, right? It's not too much to ask, I don't think, but I'm ready to run it back and lose some more money tomorrow. So, all right, Milwaukee and Memphis, the first game. Drew Holiday on my best ball team, out with an illness. He's been out for 7 days with an illness, but it's not COVID, so, like, what's going on there? You should get Javon Carter starting. He was not great in his start last game. Again, he'll see decent minutes, but be a low usage guy. As far as the top end guys go, Giannis Antetokounmpo at 12-2 had a decent game, but again was a blowout, so didn't play much in the fourth quarter. I think if you have the salary, looks like a pretty good play at the top. Middleton 6.8K. We should see low 30s minutes from him. Again, also lost minutes due to a blowout, but I think Giannis and Middleton both look pretty good without Drew. And then, again, my sneaky play last slate that no one was on is Bobby Portis. So I was like, all right, with Drew Holiday out, I just think they're going to play Bobby Portis more. They did. He played 32 minutes. He smashed, but it didn't matter because Ayton got injured. 2% too, Portis. But yeah, now Portis is not going to be 2% after these back-to-back games. But again, with Drew Holiday out, it just means more minutes for these main guys. So I like Bobby Portis. I have interest in Brook Lopez at 5'8" too. He should play around 30 minutes. Both the bigs are solid plays. Grayson Allen at 4'6". We kind of know what we're getting out of him, like 25 to 30 minutes. He's relatively score independent, but does have a ceiling to make his shots. Again, I mentioned Javon Carter. He should start. Probably see, close to 30 minutes, played 28 minutes last game. He's not going to be super productive, but, I mean, he's a fair value play. If you want to consider some guys on the bench, Connaughton 3-7, only played 19 minutes, was a bit surprising. I think more often than not, you're probably getting mid-20s minutes from Connaughton. I think he's like a pivot off of Javon Carter. And then George Hill, 3-5, also should see probably around 20 minutes. But I'd rather go to Connaughton or Carter. I think the ceiling's a bit higher on those guys. You also saw Wes Matthews back in the rotation. Played a little bit. I mean, maybe that's why Pat Connaughton only played 19 minutes. But, like, why? Like, why we don't need to play dusty Wes Matthews? Oh, whatever. All right, on the Memphis side, so Ja Morant back, still no Desmond Bane. I mean, Ja at 10-4, I think is a good play at the top. Usually, too, you see in like bigger games, he does play a bit more. The minutes at times, competitive games can be a bit frustrating of like 30 to 32. I think since this is a big game against the Bucks, we might see like 36, 37 minutes from Ja. And the usage goes way up without Desmond Bane in the court. So I do like Ja Morant a good amount there at the top. Triple J, well, he had like 22 blocks last game. Again, he does have that type of ceiling. But he also has a very low floor because he's very prone to foul trouble. And at this price point, it scares me. Plus, you got to figure, all right, matchup-wise, who is he going to be on? Well, it's like, all right, Adams is going to be on either Lopez or Portis. You're going to see Triple J most likely on Giannis. And that scares me. With a guy prone to foul trouble going up against Giannis, who just consistently drives to the rim and draws fouls. Yeah. It scares me. Tyus Jones out of play with Ja Morant back. Dylan Brooks, another guy I hate rostering. Does feel a bit pricey with Ja back. Adams, I think, is a relatively safe play. We should get 25 to 30 minutes in competitive game. Probably won't kill you. Clark feels pricey with Adams back. Conchar 4-8 should continue to start and play 25 to 30 minutes. Just kind of a neutral value play. And then that's probably it. I don't think I'm going to get to anyone else here on Memphis. Miami and Houston. So Jimmy Butler missed the game tonight due to injury management. So I assume he'll be back. So I think everyone will be good to go here for the Heat with Jimmy, Bam Adebayo, Hero, and Kyle Lowry. With that being said, it's a really good matchup against Houston. And, sorry. I felt that sneeze coming. Yeah, so it's a really good matchup against Houston. With everyone healthy, though, it's like, I like Hero, I like Bam, I like Jimmy. But trying to figure out who it's going to be is a little bit trickier. Like, who's going to have the really big game? So, like, I like all three. But I can't tell you who I like more than the others, right? So it's like puff for single entry with Jimmy, with Bam, with Hero. But yeah, I think the ceiling is very clearly there with all three. Lowry, I'm just indifferent on. He should play a ton, but low usage with these other three guys healthy. And then value-wise, I don't think I get to Martin or Strus. Oladipo with a back-to-back, maybe he sits. So you might see minutes for Duncan Robinson, but I don't think it's worth it to go there. So let's move on to Houston. Houston, tougher spot here, but like the main guys I think are solid tournament plays. KPJ, Jalen Green, Sengun. Not like any of these guys are expensive. So like the ceiling in all three for tournaments, I think that all three will be relatively low owned. One guy I do kind of like for tournaments as well is Jabari Smith. Got in foul trouble last game, but his minutes have ticked up of late, like 35, 34, 39. So I like him a good amount there in the mid-range. And then value-wise, I think Eric Gordon's fine. He should play 25 to 30 minutes in a competitive game. If you want to take shots on guys like Easton or KJ Martin off the bench in GPPs, you can. So, like, Houston, relatively easy team to talk about. Moving on to the Pelicans and the Jazz. So, Pelicans will keep an eye on news with Herbert Jones. Started, but did play limited minutes. Also, that game was a blowout. I want to see if he's going to be limited or not again. But top-end guys, I mean, Zion's been playing really well, dealt with a bit of foul trouble. I have no issue if you want to go to 9-8 on him. CJ McCollum, Ben, not great, but he still should be the number 2 offensively. Still should play mid-30s minutes in a good matchup. And then JV intrigues me here because of the price point. Massive foul trouble here, plus blowout. I mean, his minutes can fluctuate, but like if you get a game where JV's playing like close to 30 minutes, he can destroy this price point. And it's not like the Jazz have anyone that can stop him. So I like the ceiling on JV. Trey Murphy, I took his over points last game. He had a phenomenal shooting game. 0 for 7. He's still viable, though, at this price point. Still, I think, plays over 30 minutes in a competitive game. Herb Jones, if he's limited, I have no interest in him. If he's playing normal minutes, he's fine. But yeah, if he's limited, then you can maybe take shots on guys like Daniels and Najee Marshall off the bench at 3.7 and 3.6K, respectively. But yeah, I think that's it. Alvarado's out. So, like, I think Devontae Graham probably enters the rotation at the flat min price if you wanted a tournament dart third. Moving on to the Jazz. So, the Jazz, I mean, can we talk about this Vanderbilt game? In 23 minutes, 49 fantasy points, 18, 14, 6, 1, and 1. What on earth was that from Vanderbilt? I think going back to him. I mean, he's playable, but it'll probably be a bit overrun because the last game. Markkanen at the top, probably my favorite spend up for the Jazz. Did deal with the blowout last game. Clarkson still in play as well at 7-1. Those two should play mid-30s minutes. Olynyk, I mean, dealt with a bit of foul trouble. I think in a competitive game, probably plays around 30 minutes. Just indifferent on him. Beasley probably sees around 30 minutes. He's viable as well, but scoring dependent. Conley at 5'3", they said no limit. Did only play 29 minutes, but again, was a blowout. I kind of like him at this price point. I think that is a little bit too cheap for Conley. NAW, Walker Kessler, playable off the bench. I mean, NAW, been playing well. Looks like he'll continue to be a part of this rotation, but don't love the price point. And then Kessler played a bit more because of the blowout plus Olynyk foul trouble. So that is the Jazz. And finally, the Suns and the Clippers. So don't get me started, Mikal Bridges. How is it possible to shoot that bad? Can you tell me? I didn't know that was humanly possible. But, all right, so no Cam Johnson, no Cam Payne. Jay Crowder obviously not playing. Ayton got banged up. He's questionable. And Booker questionable. So if Booker and Ayton are out, I mean, the Suns are really shorthanded. Chris Paul would look good. Mikal Bridges would look good. You would probably get a lot of minutes for guys like Damian Lee, Shamet. I think Josh Okogie would be playable value. Biyombo and Lando would split the center position. They would both be good values. So, unfortunately, there would be a lot to like here for the Suns if Booker and Ayton are both out. If Booker and Ayton are both in, I think Chris Paul's a bit overpriced. I think Booker, assuming no limitations, would be a solid spend up. Ayton, if he doesn't get injured, I think would be an okay play. So, like, the Suns would be a lot of secondary plays if Booker and Ayton are both out. But if they're both in, if they're both out, there's a lot to like here for the Suns. We'll keep an eye on the starting lineup. Again, with Cam Payne out, like, you would just get backup point guard run for, like, I don't know, Okogie or Shamet or Damian Lee. Just would be a lot of minutes to go around here for the Suns team. Finally, the Clippers. So Kawhi Leonard is playing tonight, so I assume he'll get the rest tomorrow. John Wall got the rest tonight, so I assume he will be back. Paul George, 9-2, without Kawhi Leonard, I think makes for a decent spend up. Should play 35 to 40 minutes. Wall, Reggie Jackson, they'll split the center minutes. They're both fine. Zubac, I want to see how many minutes he plays tonight against a bigger Rudy Gobert. He dealt with foul trouble last game. The game before that, he got benched. But if he plays like 30-plus minutes, then I would have interest in him at 5'3". Value-wise, I mean, you can mix and match these guys. Morris, Batum, man, they're all fine. I think with Kawhi out, you probably get Batum starting. If that is the case, I think he would probably be my favorite of these value plays. But Morris playable, man playable, Kennard playable. But I think, again, if Kawhi's out and Batum starts, Batum would be my favorite value. So that's going to wrap it up for the video, guys. Again, I think I'm just going to go for a walk after this. I got to cool off, man. I'm literally still just so incredibly mad. So let's just hope, again, one slate that doesn't end in crippling pain. Is it really too much to ask? Is it? One slate. I'll leave it on that, guys. One slate.